down.
So you using the cat?
Yeah, that's
Hello. Oh.
Hello.
everybody.
And yeah, hey guys, I'm back. Is everybody frozen?
Again. No.
Are you just there going? Freak out. Who's watching? We have quite a few people watching actually. I still can't share to the Facebook to the Dark Mirror page. So could somebody please do that for me?
I'll do that now.
Thank you very much, mate. And I'll just put a thing on there saying we're live now. We will be with you shortly. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. And thank you again, you guys, for running the show whilst I've had to go away and sort all this stuff out. So,
Evening, Jamie.
It's been very much appreciated.
No problem, Mark.
No, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's put the chat room up. And hi, Jamie. There you go. Right. How is everybody?
Alive.
Alive.
Yeah.
Alive.
At
Have
the
you
moment,
killed any of your kids?
as you can see by my lovely growth that I've got here, I couldn't give a stuff at this precise moment in time.
Are you copying me?
No,
Who
I just
is
can't
Space?
bother to shave.
Hey, I see you there, Space. Who are you? Because it's lovely to see you joining us from. Where are you on YouTube? Aren't you? And no, this live hasn't been cancelled. We're on every Monday, roughly 9:30 p.m. GMT. So it normally depends whether we get finished yapping before we.
30 out right here.
Because we normally go, all right, you bitch, all right, you tart, all right, you slag, and that's just Jamie on the Facebook there. And then Josh is just, his potty mouth is terrible. And then Wayne will do things like, I need a booster seat, because he's actually, what you don't know about Wayne, he's actually 4'6". So it's really good. Yes. I think I'm the shortest one out of the lot of them. I'm only 5'8", so.
I'm 5'11".
What are you, Josh?
I am the tallest. I'm 6.
You're 6 foot. Fuck it! I just realised if we get together and we do a live together, it's going to be like ding ding ding. Hello there, my name's Mark. And then Wayne and Josh up there. Hello, underdog.
So oddly enough, I have something here that would be quite appropriate for this situation. You're the hamster of the group.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not into felching. I'm not that way, mate. Thanks for the offer, but hey, hamsters and small rodents up my pum pum. No, really not. Well, welcome to joining.
That's the word for it. I guess we all learn something every day. Felching.
Sure. Well, there's 2 definitions of that term, and I'm not going to say the other one because that's foul. But the one of the ones I know is in the Rainbow Fraternity. I'm sure if I remember rightly, sticking cardboard tubes with hamsters through is. I'm sure it's called felching. I may be wrong, but personally, I call it wrong myself. I mean, if you're into that, I'm sure you could possibly buy some toys for that. But no. Good evening, and thank you very much, Sarah. It's nice to be back. I've actually missed doing this, as I say. Unfortunately, it's been a bit of a sad time, and I've because those who my mum died. That's why I haven't been around for a bit. And I've been driving up and down the country because she lived right at the bottom of the country, and so does my eldest daughter and my grandchildren. And we live right at quite a long way up the top of the country in the northeast. So we've been driving up and down and sorting my mum's bungalow out and emptying it, and God knows what else. It's been very trying. So, and then these 2 reprobates here have been looking after the show for me, and it's been brilliant. So you're thinking of gerbophilia. Is that an actual thing? Gerbophilia. Have you ever heard the YouTube thing Armageddon? Look it up, and it's a dude reading out an incident that happened between two guys who were doing that with a hamster, and the hamster got lost, and he lit a match to see where the hamster was. Read, just listen to it. Type in Armageddon hamster or Armageddon gerbil. It's one of the poor thing, but it's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. And the guy cracks up in the middle of it, and he can't stop laughing. You just say Armageddon, and the things you learn on this show.
Do you know what? I just looked up gerbiling.
Gerbiling.
It's gerbiling.
Oh my god.
Gerbil. It's also known as gerbil stuffing or gerbil shooting. However, it is an urban legend description of a fictitious sexual practice of inserting small live animals, but also mice, hamsters, rats, and various other
Actually, it's not fictitious.
Into one's rectum.
It's not fictitious. It actually happens.
Heavyweight.
Josh, he's like, we all know you.
I just keep thinking of South Park and Lemmy Way.
Richard Gere was accused of it. He was actually. Yes, he was. Yeah. Hi, Eric.
Really?
And anyway, hi, everybody. So yeah, lovely to see you all. One thing before we talk about anything else, I've got to talk about. Right. Some of you are not going to like this. Tartaria. Right. Because Wayne and Josh and I have been talking about this throughout today. Tartaria. Those of you who are out there of a certain generation who suddenly think that Tartaria exists and has been happening, and that houses are built on top of the old Tartaria, stop it. No. Tartaria was in a book, and I can't remember if it was the 80s or 90s, but it was mentioned in a book. It's a story. That's all it is. There was a place called Tartary on the steppes of Russia, which is where the Tartars come from. That's a real thing, real place. The Tartars come from there, and they are akin to the Cossacks. Really good with horses and stuff like that. But
yeah, it was the historical name for Central Asia and Siberia.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is all this horse shit that they had this advanced technology and they could speak to spirits and they could speak to aliens and they had ray gun. No. And all the fact and all these cities are built on top of old. No.
Why didn't they win World War II then?
Eh? What'd you say?
I said, why didn't they win World War II then?
Why didn't they win World War II?
Oh, apparently they weren't around.
Tartaria was a badass place.
Yeah, exactly. And it was mentioned in a book.
How come they didn't win World War I?
Hey, Mark. It was all mentioned in a book. All this.
I know. I've tried finding that book. I could not.
It was. I remember reading about it years ago, and it was an interesting story. It was a bit like the Cthulhu stuff. It was a bit like that. But I mean, yeah, Tartary was a real place, and yeah, it was a bit like Bohemia used to be a thing, you know. But all this, it was a continent on its own, and it's buried underneath other cities, and it's a load of bollocks. The only other thing that may be misconstrued was either Mu, or what was the other continent? Because there was Mu, and there was another one that vanished, and I had the name for earlier, and it slipped my bloody head now. There was the continent of Mu and the continent of Perdod. But the Mu especially was supposed to have been something to do with Atlantis, the Atlanteans, the people, Thoth and all that lot. And they were supposed to have had all the advanced technology and this, that, and the other. And these were the the Anunnaki that came from Nibiru, etc., etc., etc. But all this Victoriana people going around with ray guns and TVs and all that. No, it's from a book. It wasn't real. It didn't exist. Please stop it. Just stop it. It has only been made prevalent the last 15 years.
I have found the first appearance of Tartaria was in Anatoly Fomenko's New Chronology in the mid-1970s and early 80s. And then it was popularized by racial occult history of Nikolai Levashov. So it was, like you say, it was in a book. They were the books that they were in. In Russian pseudoscience, known for its nationalism, Tartaria is presented as the real name for Russia, which was maliciously ignored in the West. The Russian Geographical Society has debunked conspiracy theory as an extremist fantasy, and far from denying the existence of the term, has used the opportunity to share numerous maps of Tartary in its collection. But the actual area of Tartary was literally Russia through to, you got the Muscovite Tartary, the Great Tartary, and Chinese Tartary, and the independent Tartary.
Yeah, Tartary, where the Tartars come from. And then further down, it turned into Bohemia. But I like that comment. Tartars, that sounds like my third wife. Oh. But yeah, let's put that one to rest, to bed. All these stuff.
It's very similar to when Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds began becoming popular again, sort of with the revisualizing of the album. There was lots of adverts going out, and then some bright sparks started putting things out on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube of the Great Martian War.
Yeah, and people started bloody believing it.
The same methods to do that as what they've done with Tartaria. They were using CGI to create these videos of these tripods walking about, spaceships flying around backwards and forwards, blowing living daylights out of St. Paul's Cathedral and various bits and bobs. And it's all CGI, and it's all just been added to the story. And unfortunately, there are people out there that will believe it.
We have, exactly, thank you. We have had continents that have disappeared under the waves. The land that connected the UK to France was Doggerland. There's Mu. What else was there? Let's have a look. There's Agartha. There was Zealandia, Beringia, Ferdinandia, Kumari Kandon, Sunderland. And there was another one as well, and I can't remember the bloody name of it. That was another one. But some of those are mentioned in antiquity, and some of those are also mentioned along with the Crystal Scrolls and Thoth. That's it. And it's quite interesting when you look into it. And I think that Thoth and that lot, they had technology that we still don't have now. I would definitely think they did. But he even talks about when people attacked him when he first landed in his ship, and people just tried to attack him because they didn't know what it was. He held up his staff and it emitted a beam, and it stopped them in their tracks, and they were throwing up and shitting themselves and this, that, and the other. We've only just got that technology now, and they use it in anti-riot stuff. So, kind of interesting. So, don't forget.
Yeah, that's what a lot of the Skinwalker Ranch stuff is too. There's a lot of people saying now that's what Skinwalker Ranch is the facility where they're testing some of them weapons that mess with your brain.
See, I find Skinwalker Ranch fascinating, and I used to, before the series and everything, I used to read up on it a lot, especially about the doorways. And Wayne and I, we've done previous shows on it, and we've said that. I mean, the way I look at Skinwalker Ranch, and I've said it before, is when you go into like the biggest hotel you can think of, it's the biggest hotel lobby, through the spinning door, and you walk in, and you can see all these doors going off to different parts of the hotel. That's literally Skinwalker Ranch of the dimensions. It's a hotel lobby for different dimensions, you know. And do you think it's like
do you think it's like the U.S.'s version of High Brazil then?
It could
possible.
Well, High Brazil's an island, but it does have doorways, and that's where the Tuatha De Danann came from Ireland, the original kings of Ireland. So possibly, because the Fae are mentioned as coming from High Brazil, the Fae are mentioned coming through all these doorways, and the Native Americans, lots of their legends talk about their ancestors going through these doorways, and their ancestors were the Fae or elves, whatever you want to call them, you know. But the Fae folk. Yeah, and I think there's doorways all over the world. And I've always said, listen to the natives, listen to the Native Americans, all the natives, listen to their stories that are handed down word of mouth throughout the centuries, because they know them. So, what have you been up to? What's on? What's going on?
Well, first, I just put up an interview. I was actually on somebody else's podcast, and the second time I put out everything, all my experiences. So if anybody out there's ever been wondering about that, go check that out. Bunch of crazy science news I got for everybody.
Go
Apparently, the U.S./DARPA has a jet right now in circulation that has consciousness in it that is flying around.
Oh,
Way too close, stepping way too close to Skynet.
yes, yeah.
Did they stick it in the CIA's SR-71 that's still airborne?
I think it might be. I know it's like one of our more advanced.
It just had an upgrade. I know the way Mark's thinking. He's like,
Well, I'm thinking about all this stuff. Don't worry, I don't hold anything against Americans, but we know the idiot who's just been ousted from over here and the one that's in charge of your lot at the moment, they're always itching to have a war with Russia, which I think is fucking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, because the rest of the world doesn't want it. But you've got all this stuff going on.
We are not here trying to have a war with Russia. We're just like the fat kid on the block that's like, ha, 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 we have chocolate and you don't. Ha, 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 ha.
But it's like it makes you wonder if these guys settled their differences and got on with all the different technologies that we've got, and these guys up there have been in contact with all the different governments, all the different countries. If we all bloody well got on and put our heads together, can you imagine what a world this would be? If there was get rid of the corruption and the oil barons and all that kind of crap, we could be in a much better.
do you know
I've
what?
honestly, sorry, go on.
To be honest, I think they're probably standing up there saying, do you know what? They ain't even worth communicating with. They aren't as intelligent as we thought they are. And they're probably U-turn at this very moment. In fact, Ellen pointed something out today, actually. NASA apparently has spotted an asteroid heading towards Earth.
That's right, yeah.
And that's probably their answer to what we're doing. They're probably saying, do you know what? They're not worth it. Send that over. See if they can deal with that.
It's stupid. It's like we've always said. For those of you, conspiracy theories and this, that, and the other, I think a lot of conspiracy theories take with a pinch of salt, but I do think there's a lot to be said for some of the things out there, especially the Black Ops stuff, the portals and the bases on other places or in other places and in other realms. Because
you just made a poem without even realising. You said there's bases in other places.
Oh, I'm a poet and I don't know it. Wow. But yeah, you got all the stuff underneath the Nazca lines, and that's supposed to have portals in it that go to, like, say, the moon. It's supposed to go to the dark side of the moon, Mars, and I can't remember if it's Saturn or Jupiter, but it goes underneath the surface of wherever this one is. And apparently, according to whistleblowers, it's like being on those, at an airport, you got those travelators that you stand on.
Yeah.
Said it's like being on that, and you go through it, and there's like a ring, and you go through the ring, and you just know the air's.
Stargate.
Yeah. As soon as you go through it, yeah. And I believe we have hidden technology. We have got all this stuff. Like the Vatican knows a lot about it, and of course the bomb.
Oh yeah, the Vatican knows way more than they.
Yeah, but again, revert back to Nikola Tesla. His inventions were way ahead of everything else at the time. So if that one person around the 1920s can come out with stuff like that, then can you imagine the sort of stuff that we would be coming out with now that we don't know nothing about? We're talking 100 years after Nikola Tesla.
And we're still knowing what
that is enough of a time gap to actually have more technology, more advanced than what
Yeah,
Tesla.
yeah, totally agree. And
I
it's
was
all been
actually hearing something about this recently too. Like airplanes haven't advanced at all in like 60 years.
no.
I think for a reason.
And again, when you look into whistleblowers' testimony, the black ops sites that don't exist at all. The technology they have, including in like just in their tablets, the technology that they have is it's between 100 and 150 years ahead of what we have now, and they will never release it because they are working in conjunction with people from elsewhere. Space is saying trouble. I believe in UAPs, but I very much doubt they are of alien origin. I think a lot of what we see may possibly come from under the Earth, but I also think there's a lot that comes from either outside or possibly through a doorway. I don't know.
Well, I think what he's getting at is probably more along the lines of that some of the UAPs we are seeing are actually human made.
Oh yeah, some of them definitely are.
Oh yeah,
Look at the A3B.
All the vehicles that are out there, they're not, especially military aircraft or even military seacraft. They don't want to let it be known straight away that they've got this, and it's only going to be in the field where it's going to be seen for the first time that people are going to turn around and go, holy crap, what was that? So as soon as they release it to be used, they will then make it public. But obviously, first off, they have to go through a period of testing to make sure that it will work in the field. And that's where the rumours start.
As Isha said, and we've spoken about them before. Thanks, Eric. I don't think for one second we are the only planet out there with intelligent life on it, if that's what you can call intelligent. I think anybody who says, no, nothing else, you're crazy and you're deluded. I do think we've been visited for a long time, and I'm not talking about the last couple of centuries, I'm talking thousands of years. And I think certain people are privy to this. When I say certain privy, I mean like the papal see, certain bobberments, but I'm talking about cabals and things like that have been going for thousands of years, because they're the only ones capable of knowing really about all this stuff. I do. Technology has been repressed and hidden from us, and I think it's about time all this greed and corruption stops, and they let us actually get to where we're supposed to be, the stage we're supposed to be at the moment.
Yeah, but they don't, because it's all about power.
Yeah, and power and money.
I don't even think it's just not even that. It's just so many lines have been crossed. So many Geneva codes have been broken. So many crimes against humanity. And
I was just reading that about. I've been saying Stargates for years, but people just ignore me. Well, the only reason people just ignore you, mate, is because they think it's Doc Brown from Back to the Future saying Stargates, Marty, and that's what it is. For those of you who don't know,
no, I've heard whispers.
But the Iraq War wasn't
even
it?
from Fieldman. Some of them weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, weapons of mass.
That we've got.
They reckon there was a Stargate, wasn't it? I've seen a lot of things about that. That the whole reason they invaded was because there was a Stargate, and it was kept in plain sight. But then they started fortifying where the Stargate was because certain countries found out about it and went, "Oh, we want that." So, and that's why the war started, and it was none of this weapons of mass destruction whatsoever. It was all bollocks. What's your take on it?
I definitely think
that's what CERN is now.
something around that has been left behind on purpose.
Look at the bells in Russia, the big brass bells right out in the middle of nowhere in Russia, and anybody who goes near it gets radiation poisoning. They think that's the remnants of a global defense system from thousands of years ago. And there's been some interesting. Eh? Do you know the ones I'm on about?
Could be also a bunch of down shit. Yeah. They're like really radioactive.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my God, my daughter's on there. Hey, Becky. Becky actually loves this stuff, and she's got some interesting stuff. So I'd like to have her get on one time. Woo Riders DG, hello from Florida. Well, hi there. Welcome to Yorkshire, Wisconsin, and Colchester. So southern UK, northern UK, and America. So yeah, but yeah,
Southern UK. I'm in the east.
Never eat southeast. Nah, you're down below the border.
I'm in the east. I'm in East Anglia.
Listen to his accent.
I'm North Essex.
Actually,
South
to be fair,
Essex, South Essex is London. That
South
makes
Essex
us
is
the
an
Southerners.
awful accent.
I'm North
It is.
Essex, which makes me East Anglia. I'm in the
Yeah.
eastern region.
I'm sorry, the Southern Essex accent is awful. Oh my God! No offense to Danny Dyer,
Hey.
Londoner. Anyway, Wayne's not too far from you. So, do you know who this space guy is?
I don't know who this space guy is.
Who is this space guy? What's your
Who
name?
is this space guy?
Who bloody hell are you? I'm sure Josh has heard this before, but he looks very similar to Jeremy Corbell. Oh no, that's not fair!
I am way skinnier than Jeremy Corbell.
Josh is not a Nazi sympathizer. Oh my God.
Oh God.
You're not saying America right, you got to say that with a southern accent.
I can't
America. Is that better? America. I can't grow a mullet. I really can't grow a mullet.
You don't got a beer in your hands.
Oh yeah, I suppose, yeah.
There's a similarity there.
There is.
No way.
Jeremy Corbell.
All you got to do, Josh, is do what me and Mark do and have 2 white bits. And you'll be
I always have a goatee, you see, but mine needs trimming at the moment. But yeah, this has always been a little bit white on the corners here. And then when Mum died a few weeks ago, we were talking. Me and Rachel were talking about it. Literally, the whole of my chin over 4 weeks, last 4 weeks, has gone white. It's weird, bizarre. But yeah, you do look like.
I'm completely going wrong.
Yeah, I thought you meant the Jeremy Corbell.
I am not that fat.
Next week, Josh. Next week, wear a hat and put some
Who was that?
put white bits of paper there, and we'll see if there's a difference.
Hey,
We'll go tonight. We've got a special guest, Jeremy Corbell.
That would be rather interesting. Who do we look like? I look like any generic boy.
One moment you call me Momoa, now you call me Corbell.
No, I said Jason
you
Momoa
get
from Wick.
around a bit, Josh.
Anywho, I
What
still
else
got
across the pond
bunch of topics that have you guys heard? No, this is by you. Well, sort of. So France's Excalibur that actually existed in a mountainside cliff has disappeared. It's been there for 1,300 years and it's gone.
It's vanished and no one knows. And it wasn't
The
picked up on-
Highlanders returned.
It's going to pop up in Lake Windermere.
I'll get a scuba gear out because I've only got one hand, so I can do the Lady of the Lake. Anyway.
I'm getting the wrong visualization of that.
Oh yeah, hand comes out of the lake with a dildo.
Sopping wet flowing dress.
I wonder where he was going with that.
No, he needs to have the whole mermaid get up.
I got a metal leg, mate. I'd have to take it off.
We're talking about the Lady of the Lake, not the Little Mermaid.
Right here, buddy. Dear. Have you guys
You'll
seen the
have your
video?
moment in August, Mark.
I have actually, and I again very. Have you seen that one? Very interesting. Very interesting.
I'd briefly seen something, but it got very quickly taken over by an previously unreleased footage of that mall incident in Florida.
Yeah.
And they'd actually, this video, it was so funny. I took one look at it and I went, oh my God, what a load of BS. It was this black
It's as real as Tartaria.
right in front of the camera, and it kept changing shape, and you could clearly see that it was CGI being used or AI. And this guy was commenting over.
My favorite part that there's no shadow.
Yeah, he was going, "Oh, the reason why we've left it because we thought we'd let it die down first before we continue with the story." I'm like, no. If you've got this footage, you release it straight away so it can't get taken down. But no.
Right, and this
I could have swore that was the same guy that like later said, "I don't even live in Florida." He like lived in Alabama or some shit. He's like, "I was just messing with everybody." I know one of them said it right away. Yeah.
Alabama. Let me introduce you to my sister, niece, cousin, wife. Sorry, ding diggly dong dong. I'll tell you one thing I have been noticing over here. I've been studying a lot of the latest UFO sightings over here in the UK. And if you get the map and zoom in on, say, military bases, MOD bases, something like that, you'll start to see that these UFO sightings go in a certain line, and they curve around the bases, and they go along like the main motorway routes, the main arteries of the UK and stuff. I was looking at it the other day because I'm starting to do a thing about it, and it actually makes some very interesting stuff. And this year and the end of last year, the sightings have gone poof and like really, really, really spiked. They've gone mental over here at the moment, and in North America. Oh, and India for some reason. Yeah. And again, same thing. They're all near bases or black ops sites, and they all follow lines. Is it motorways? Is it highways? Or is it ley lines? What do you make? You two.
I don't really know. Because the problem is, right, while you were saying that, something just came into my head that I remembered seeing yesterday, and it was of the Pentagon actually denying the existence of UFOs.
Oh, they
after all this so-called disclosure and everything else, the Pentagon is now saying there are no such things as UFOs. There are no such things as extraterrestrials, and that's now coming from the Pentagon.
Yeah, but if
after releasing all the videos,
and if that's true, then why are they still having these behind closed doors meetings?
Yeah, exactly.
Why are all the other bobberments in the world going, actually, no, they are real. We know all about it. You know, explain Colorado Airport, the main airport, when they've got like 5 times the amount of soil come out from 50 there. You know?
Exactly. I mean, it's technically too late for them now. The Pentagon have come to way too late.
Sorry, I was just catching up with the stuff in the chat room there. Yeah, laser pointers. I've seen a lot of interesting videos of people with laser pointers and it being answered back. So yeah. I don't know. I think a lot of stuff is coming out now that is stuff that the bobberments can't hide anymore. It's got to the point. Yeah, it's got to the point now. Do you remember 2 years ago, before I moved here in my old place, before Josh joined us, we said 2 years' time, it's going to get to the point where the people are going to go, nah, fuck off. That's enough. We know you're talking out your ass, mate. We've seen too much. We know too much. Stop lying. We said it would get to that point, and it's just starting 2 years ago.
Yep.
And every time we mention something, we say it's going to happen. And it's not because we're mystics or any crap like that. We're not at all. We just use our heads and research stuff. And you can kind of predict stuff that's going to happen. And then when we've said it's going to happen, it happens. But Valiant Thor is a cover for Majestic 12. Possibly.
I don't know.
It's
like Project Blue Book. They just shut it. They say they've shut it down, but they just give it a different name.
No, they haven't. Yeah, exactly. And it's every single time. Many of these
Valiant Thor.
You what, mate?
Valiant Thor was the Venetian. Valiant Thor was the Venetian that came to the U.S. and talked to Roosevelt and was like, "Hey, we can give you free energy," and they're like, "Nah, fuck off. These guys gave us the power to blow these guys up."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, well, I guess we'll try that in another few hundred years."
Exactly? How arrogant have you got to
There's
be?
a lady here actually who's the granddaughter.
I was going to say,
again.
How arrogant have you got to be to turn around when they say, "Yeah, we can give free energy, like 0-point modules, stuff like that"? How arrogant have you got to be? Going, fuck off, we want weapons, no beds. Absolutely
Well, the deal was the Venetians wanted all of us to give up all of our weapons throughout the world.
Which isn't a bad thing. I mean, have guns and shit, yeah.
You come here and tell Texas to give up their guns.
No, guns and shit. That's fine. I like shooting. I love shooting. You know, but I mean things like weapons of mass destruction, gases, nuclear.
But that's what I think it was. I think it was all weapons. It was basically no more conflicts.
No more conflict would be a good thing, but unfortunately, we are a warring race.
Yep.
You know,
I think that's why if beings are going to come here, they're going to just take one look at what we're doing to each other, and they just go, "Look, until you learn to solve your differences, we ain't getting involved."
Well, the trouble is with a lot of the crap that goes on around the world is, as if that story about the first Gulf War is true, if somebody's got something that another country that's got bigger weapons, I've got a bigger weapon than you, then that, and they want it, they will just go and fucking take it. Hello, you know, and then there's no mucking around or anything like that. And then you know yourself, when they want something and they go and take it, they will make the story fit the narrative of what they're doing. You know, and it's happened down throughout time. You know, time immemorial, it always happens. But when you look again into time immemorial, we have been visited for years and years and years and years and years. It's in Renaissance paintings. It's even mentioned in the original Bible. I think the Ethiopian Bible is the original Bible. You know, and it's the aliens are mentioned in aliens. I said it. That's my first one for about a month. So yeah, it's been mentioned for a long time, and it's like, we, you know, if all this fucking corruption was gone and all this making money and you know, we're bigger than you, we're better than you, if all that went, can you imagine what us as a society with our technology would be like now?
We would be capable of doing so much more if we stopped bitching and arguing with each other and just got on with life.
Exactly, and we are capable of this. Our brains operate in several different dimensions, for fuck's sake. You know, now we should have the technology to be able to go.
Why do we do shit so ass backwards yet? Like, why do we let people rule us that are like fucking decrepit and like completely detached from reality? Like, why are we still doing this?
Well, when you think about it, back along, we were the guys that wore tinfoil hats, and we were the ones off our tits on patchouli oil and marijuana, you know, and it's like, actually, no. Well, back then in the 70s and 60s, yeah, they probably fucking were, but you know, I mean, I grew up, I was born in 72, and my notorious time was the rave scene of the 90s. I'm not going to go into what I got up to. From what I can remember of the 90s, it was a pretty good time. But
Mark was a party monster.
Oh my God, I used to be a DJ. I was DJ Grebo, and I used to go and do raves and everything. I've done some.
I spent most of my 90s defending the country.
No, I do that now.
You know, and raving at the same time.
I was playing with Power Rangers.
Power Rangers. Did you do all that?
Oh, Mighty Morphin.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's morphin' time.
Morphin' time, boys. Do you know what that brings? Does a whole new meaning down in Alabama when you hear the grandfather shout, "It's morphin' time." You just see all the young kids go, "No!" and run away. So yeah. We have Alabama down here. It's called Somerset and Dorset. Oh, and Wales. I'm just waiting for all the comments now. Like, oh my God. Nigel Porter, hi everyone. I'm from the North Pole. Really? Whereabouts? Nice to see you.
North.
Apparently somebody's from the North Pole.
He must work for Father Christmas. Everybody. Works.
Richie's in hell.
Well, I'm sure Nigel's on my Facebook, and I'm sure he's not from the North Pole. I'm going to have a quick look. I think he may be 45.
We're just going to check to see if you're lying, my friend.
Well, I got another subject to bring up.
Ooh.
I don't know if it's happening by you guys, but we have had a record year of shark attacks again.
Yes, there has. Yes, I saw a lot of that.
Again.
And there's been a lot of sharks that are like big fuck-off great whites who've been found with just their heads, and the rest of the body's been chopped off by something much bigger than them. What do you reckon?
I can chalk up. There is some killer whales. Killer whale pods have been targeting great whites because there's some organ that they eat that gets them fucked up.
Yeah, it's the liver. Some of that.
So they've been literally, the liver in this.
You see those killer whales when they zero in on the great whites, they
just
go bang.
It's bad enough seeing them on the beach.
Yeah. Well, back along for those of you who've only recently joined us, we've done previous shows where we've talked about the Marianas Trench, the layer that's down there that we can't get below, and the fact that there's been sonographs and all this sort of thing that's been taken from down there. And when they've done the seismographs and they've found voids with forests in and lakes and seas and this, that, and the other, there is a school of thought that says there's something akin to megalodons or something like that underneath this layer. Now, could these things be breaching this layer or learning how to breach this layer, or not just from the Marianas Trench? Could they be coming up from elsewhere? You know, like Admiral Byrd and his entrance to the underworld. And then he was escorted out and told, don't tell anybody about us because we're not interested. Do you reckon there's other entrances down underneath, and that's where a lot of the USOs came from or come from?
Well, you've got to remember, we do get a lot of earthquakes in the sea.
Yeah, our portal.
So all it takes is for a crack in the ocean that could release something that's been trapped in a subterranean sea for it to come through that crack.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
There's so
where all the plates are.
Yep. Look at all the new stuff that's being found, all the things that are being dug up, all the out of place artifacts. And again, we've done previous shows on out of place artifacts, and there's things being found that just should not be there. You know.
I can't remember.
I'm going to take it a next step up into conspiracy and religions. A lot of TikTok talk about the Leviathan and Yamangard. You guys think any truth to that? I mean, the Bible even talks about Leviathan.
No worries, mate. We'll be finished in about 15 minutes because we do 9:30 to 10:30. But we're back on every Monday at 9:30 GMT, okay? Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Have a good night.
But
what's your thoughts
about things coming through the cracks? 11 new species were discovered last year.
Well, the thing is, with things coming through the cracks, I've had dodgy curries and I've seen things coming out of the cracks that should not exist. So, you know.
Sorry, Josh. Go on.
What, you Leviathan, Yamangard. I think it's possible there's a giant monster thing in the water. I think that's why the sharks are acting the way that they are. It's not just sharks. There's all sorts of squid. There's all sorts of these species that are way down deep that are beaching themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had, where I am, we've got the River Colne that comes in off the North Sea and it comes inland. We had a porpoise right in the middle of Colchester 2 weeks ago. Never had a porpoise up there before. We've had seals, but never a porpoise.
We get walruses here.
And it literally kicked up such a stink. All the footpaths over the river were absolutely teeming with people. You couldn't see the river for people if you drove past. And people were like, oh, what's that doing there? What's that doing there? But the problem they then had was the tide was going out. So they had to make sure that this porpoise was able to get out again, because it's a tidal river. And right up into the heart of Colchester, it exists for the tide. And then once it gets to a lock, it's then fresh water. So up to that point, it's tidal. So they had to make sure that this porpoise was able to get back out to sea again before the tide went down. And it kicked up such a stink, but it was literally just there for that one tide, and then they managed to get him back out to sea again. But that asked the question, what was it doing there? Because they've never had anything like that there before.
Well, that thing that Josh was on about, Jormungandr, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jormungandr. But
Is
yeah.
it that video? Is it the video that you've seen with that whatever the fuck that is in the sea?
Yeah. A lot of people think it's that.
That is an intrigue. See, the thing for me is there's so many things under the water. We know more about space than we do about under the ocean. NASA originally started out under the ocean, wasn't it? Exploring the seas, and then they went fuck that and went into space. So obvious, and there's so many things, so many scientific reports when you read into it of all these voids that are under the crust of the earth. How the fuck they know there's a void down there with a forest in it and this, that, and the other, I don't know. But they found forests, they found trees, freshwater sea, a freshwater sea that's got more water in it than all the seas on the top of the land put together. So it kind of makes me think, you got all that going on down there. There's obviously another branch of life that's evolved down there, way away from us. Why couldn't they have the technology to have flying things and technology way in advance of as us? There's things out in space that have got it, and they're about the same age as some of our planet's about the same age as some of them, and they've developed this technology. So why can't whoever or whatever lives underneath? Why can't they have it as well?
Especially if they developed earlier than we did.
Yeah, exactly. It's supposed to be reptilian, isn't it? There's a lot of reports that say that we branched off and the reptilians went down there, and I think that's mentioned in the beginning of the Bible as well, where things branch off. But it's also mentioned in a lot of different religions as well. But I'm sorry, I do believe that there's far, far more to this earth, not just space and everything, but this earth and this dimension that meets the eye.
I think the problem is now is Earth itself has gone too far in evolution for us now to turn around and go, do you know what? We're not going to go to space anymore. We're going to continue exploring this planet first. Because we've done the damage, we need to start venturing out into space before it's too late.
Well, they're going to Europa, and what was the other one? Was it Io? They're going to Europa, Io, and there's another one that they're going to. Yeah,
we need to go. We need manned mission to Mars first before we start messing around doing things like that.
Oh, the people here in the U.S. just came out that that test of people that were put away and like practicing to go to Mars for a year just came out today.
That's right. It was on the news, wasn't it?
And it won't be long. I mean, with the new Starship that Mr. Musk has been testing, it's not going to be long. It's not going to be long because we've already proved that the rockets that Elon Musk has been using, SpaceX has been using, are far superior to anything that NASA had been putting up.
Again, I
think it's part of the problem is NASA's attention backpedaling.
We've mentioned so many times with AI. I mean, it was bad enough with people faking it before, and now you've got AI come out as well. And it's got to point what's real and what's not real. You used to be able to tell Like that UFO that was on the aircraft carrier that a helicopter's flying over. You remember that video? And the shadows going the wrong fucking way to all the other shadows. You used to be able to tell with stuff like that, but like all this Tartaria stuff that we were talking about, all these pictures and videos that are coming up, people have done it with AI, and it's like it's not fucking real,
But it's also,
I know it's pretty obviously not real.
Yeah.
It's also like we've been saying. For every authentic video that's gone out there, there are people that
We do live in an age where we can't trust your eyes anymore.
To deliberately flood social media with fake videos so that it pushes the authentic one out the way.
Well, exactly. And again, we've spoken about this previously. It's a narrative that's out there. As soon as something real comes on, all the Bobbermans go, and they have departments that are done just for that, for flooding crap. So and then like the Congress coming out and go, no, they're not real. UAPs don't exist. No, they're not real. Fuck off. No, don't, because you're still having your meetings. You're still having your whistleblowers coming forward and saying all this stuff, and you're still having senators going, actually, they are real. We've just been told. We've seen the proof. It needs for them to actually just start telling the bloody truth for once in their lives. Never going to happen, but. The same as the Vatican turning around and saying, "Oh, we don't do anything with young boys," or anything like that. It would be good for them to come out and just admit everything that goes on and their vaults. I'd kill to get in those vaults and have a look.
I'm trying to see if I can
find
me
it. Too.
But I
awesome.
Had been given someone sent me a picture of something. They wanted a bit of clarity.
Is there any of the stories from the Nazis
of what
that survived that were in the vaults? Was there any, like, after World War II, any of the, like, Nazi soldiers come forward and were like, this is what I saw, this is what we took, this is what was...
There has been a couple.
When they hit the Vatican.
You don't know if they're real or not, but there is a couple of very old Jesuit priests who've been down there. They are old, and they have turned around and said, actually, there's books down there that talk about people from the stars and what they look like, where they came from, the star systems, what they do, what they eat, how they fart, all this sort of stuff. And there's supposed to be skeletons of beings from elsewhere down there and everything. And all this stuff about demons and angels is exactly what we've spoken about in the shows before. It was misconstrued aliens having a scrap on our planet. And they've got some of the skeletons. So, yeah. Sorry, Wayne.
I'm trying to find a picture that somebody sent me that asked a question in regards to faith and UFOs.
It wasn't a giant penis again, was it? Because we know what you're
No, this was one that I found, but there is another one.
Oh, yeah.
And that is on I think it was 4th century church.
Yeah.
But there is another one where the Pope is standing. He's actually talking to the masses. And behind him on the wall is carving. And there's a UFO, a clear saucer-shaped UFO in the carvings behind him on the wall.
We'll have to see if we can find that.
And I've got to try. I'm trying to see whether I can find it again. But it certainly asks the question. I'm sure I've got it on here somewhere. I'll look for it because I know I've got it somewhere.
Well, it's like I say, there's so much going on that the high ups know about, be it in the Bobbermans or in the Vatican. It doesn't matter. They know. And the black op. The thing is, we all know there's another government, and I don't mean that like each country. There is another government that runs all the other governments and all the black ops and all the missing billions from not just the USA but from England and everywhere else around the world. There's all this stuff going on, and if they just went, actually, we've got this technology. Actually, we know what Tesla was doing. Actually, we're not going to do all the energy crisis and the shares in it and this, that, and the other, because we can solve the energy crisis just like that. We can solve cancer just like that, but they won't, because they make more money out of prevention rather than cure.
Yeah. I mean, I saw a few things today that things like if you've got a cough.
Welcome
get
from
yourself-
Texas.
Get yourself a red onion, 4 cloves of garlic, and I think it was something like 12 tablespoons of honey. Soak the garlic and the onion in the honey, and then take out or strain it after you've let it set in the fridge for a while, and then just use that as you would a normal cough mixture. And apparently it gets rid of quite a lot of things, including things like asthma and coughs.
Oh yeah.
So it, there's a lot of things out there that are good for us that they don't want us using because it means they would lose too much money. Big pharmaceutical companies don't want us using natural remedies.
I used to work, and I won't say the name, and I can't say the name, but I used to work, I do security for a pharmaceutical company years and years and years and years and years and years ago, and I've overheard some things being spoken about by high ups, and they do have the cures for various things, but they make far more money by giving us all these preventions and curing symptoms rather than having complete cures. Because lovely job, thank you very much. I'll put it down there. I'll be down in a minute. That's right. Thank you. Love you. Dinner. Yeah. And whilst we still got all this corporate greed going on, where they don't, no, we will not cure people. We will just do prevention. They won't. It's horseshit. Like the energy giants, we've got shares. We're in the government. We've got shares in these energy giants. Let's hike everything up and get everybody to buy electric cars. And whilst we're at it, let's make the prices of electricity and gas. Yeah. Wonderful.
And the thing is, as well, there's, like we know, there is a lot of money in it. Yeah. One I do know of.
Yeah.
Hang on, right. Bear with me. I've got to find out the figure. How much does medicine make?
Ghost, if you want to get on bed, you can get on bed, but you're not having my dinner. No,
I don't want images, you donut. Right.
I 100% agree with that.
Right, antihistamines.
I wanted to cover on that one last topic yet, too, that we talked about before. So. Why didn't he just go green?
Yeah. Well, that green has a cure-all for pretty much everything, doesn't it? And I've seen some pretty convincing stuff. I don't mind admitting, in my youth, I used to smoke the stuff a lot. I know family members who smoke it a fair bit, and to be fair, it helps them with mental health issues. I've seen people with Parkinson's that have the oil, the CBD oil, and it helps relieve some of their symptoms like you wouldn't believe. So there's a lot to be said for CBD and for weed and the properties of it. It is it was in the ancient books. It says it was a gift from the gods, and it was like a cure-all for everybody. So Casey's a friend of mine, and she used to go out with my little bro, and she lives in America, and she just said, "I have my medical cannabis card." Yay, Chicago! Yeah, exactly. That's the stuff I'm on about.
That's going to annoy me now.
Have you lost it?
Well, I'm still looking for the picture, but also at the same time, I was trying to figure out, looking for a figure, but I can't find it easy enough.
For next week, we'll put it up
it's
on the wall.
like antihistamines, right? Hay fever medicine. So many different types, and yet a lot of people, there is a vast majority of people around the world take antihistamines for hay fever, or for allergic reactions.
Idiots.
Yeah, it's just recently been discovered that if you sting yourself with stinging nettles every day, you will get rid of the hay fever.
It also means you're a bit kinky, let's face it.
And it works. No, all you got to do is just once on the back of your hand, just brush past the stinging nettle, and it will stop the hay fever. And it's been tried and tested.
I might have to try that because I get really bad hay fever.
And stinging nettles, how long does the sting last? A couple of minutes?
Yeah.
And that's it. And people have been going on TikTok recently, and they've been stinging themselves in the morning. One was a news reporter. She purposely stung herself, and she suffers badly with hay fever. And for the rest of that day, she wasn't suffering at all.
Yeah. There's so much stuff out there, and I completely believe that for every ailment there is something out there plant based. But right, we have been in for an hour. Do you guys want to carry on, or do you want to carry on next week?
Here for everything.
Hey.
I can probably only go about an hour.
Yeah, I'm going to be heading off soon myself because I've had a big day. So,
well, in that case, I shall say thank you very much for everybody joining us, especially on all the different things. Because remember, we got on Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I'm used to Twitter. YouTube, here, everything else. We're on TikTok, and it's really nice to see everybody there. So we will be back next week at 9:30 GMT. What time is that over there where you are? At 9:30 over here. What time's at your end? Josh?
3:30.
3:30 p.m. Is that Eastern Standard Time?
3:30.
There you go. So join us next week, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, 9:30 GMT at night. Thank you, Eric. And we will continue this discussion where we analyze and scrutinize the weird and wonderful and then say how much we hate the government. So it's really good. So thank you for joining us. Josh, Wayne, you have been awesome as ever. And thank you for running the show whilst I've not been around. So it's been brilliant.
right.
So everybody out there, we shall see you next week. And thank you for joining us out there in streaming land. See you soon. And remember, keep your eyes to the skies. We do have an email address, and we have, you see it at the bottom? We have a website as well, www.thedarkmirrorshow.co.uk. And we have the Dark Mirror Radio Show at yahoo.com, I think it is. Either .com or .co.uk. Drop us an email. Anything you want us to talk about, we'll have a look. Or drop myself a message, Josh a message, or Wayne a message. And we will see you all soon. Take it easy, and bye from everybody.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Bitteschön. Oh, wir haben Wesen making you talk, ja.